Hi, I'm Jadon, a product designer with SiteStacker, and today we're going to take a look at a bird's eye view of SitePlanner. SitePlanner is a CMS or content management system. This is where all the website build and management takes place. In this video, we will only cover an overview of what SitePlanner is. Once you've watched this and are familiar with the general layout and function of SitePlanner, we recommend watching our in-depth videos on static and dynamic content, as well as wrappers. SitePlanner is the component located under Publishing. When you first open it up, you'll recognize there's two sides, the Site Plan and the Content Explorer. I like to explain the Site Plan as the canvas or the actual artwork. This is where your web pages will be and where you'll drag over items to publish. The Content Explorer is where all the content is located. I like to explain this as the backpack that you might have all your items in, but you're not using every single one of them. So just because a piece of content was created over here doesn't mean that it's published to the live site. We're going to start by dropping down the site, and you'll see that there's two options on both sides. The dashboard will require a whole nother training, but this is where you'll locate the back end of the dashboard that functions for your missionaries or your staff members. The one labeled Christian Mission is for the website portion. This will be labeled your organization's name. You'll notice that each folder has a name and a type. We classify type as a content type. This will let you know what kind of item it is. For example, this missionary folder is classified as a missionary type. This means that all missionary content will be created inside of this folder. It's important to mention that anything located outside of this folder is not for the site's purpose. Everything inside of this folder will be used for the live website. The first three folders are the ones that we're going to start looking at. These are the three folders that you'll probably be in the least, but it's still important to know how they function. Component pages will have to do with some of the foundations of the site. Go ahead and drop that down. You'll see there's advocacy, motion 2, which has to do with our form builder, contributions, which has to do with the checkout, and a users folder that has all the users component. Let's take a look at what some of these things might look like on the front end. For an example of the users pages, My Giving would be one of the components, or My Campaigns. And each of these are templated components that come as a foundation of your site. Another example would be the checkout. So we don't have to build this checkout module every time. This is a component that comes published to your site. The next folder we're going to take a look at is the modules folder. These are specific modules that can be published throughout your site, such as Motion 2, which is the form builder, or search modules, which are used most commonly. You will be in this folder the most out of the first three, because it has to do with creating specific modules. Let's take a look at what those look like on the front end. The search module, where we have children selected as the content type, is an example of one of the modules. This Contact Us form is also another module that would be located inside of the module folder. The next folder we're going to take a look at is the Menus folder. Similar to the Component Pages folder, everything inside of here is pretty much already published. There could be a circumstance or situation where you might need to publish the menu again, so it's important to know where to locate these, but you'll most commonly come in here to make any changes to existing menus that are already published. When we open up a menu item, such as the header menu, see that you select Manage Menu Items, and this is where you can see your list of the different menus. If we go in and select the full menu, which is the flyout, the module looks exactly the same. So you might be wondering, how do you differentiate the header and the full menu if the item look the same? That's when it comes to the publishing. Once you drag this over and publish it, you're then going to select the position, which is going to decide where that menu sits, and then the view, which decides how that menu looks. Since you would want these menus really to be published on every single page, it's important to put this in assigned content. Let's hop over and take a look at that. Assigned content is located under the Site Plan. You can locate this by right-clicking on all pages and selecting View Assigned Content. This is where all of the crucial items to your site are located. The logo, header menu, user menu, and even the register module for new accounts would all be an assigned content. And that's because every time we create a new web page, we don't want to have to add these items to every single page. Close that and hop back over here. The next chunk of folders below menus is dynamic content, as well as number 11, which is children, which would be considered dynamic content. While these are not labeled dynamic in their type, we generally call this dynamic content because a missionary, a project, and an opportunity are all types of content that come in large amounts and that need to be consistently managed. Whereas static content is managed less often and would be considered something like a button, a standalone image, or text. You can learn more about how to create, publish, and manage dynamic and static content through the training videos on our YouTube. The next folder is the wrapper folder. I like to explain a wrapper as a div block or a content block. This is the close for your content, which means it's going to add all the padding and the styling to your static and dynamic items. You can learn more about wrappers by watching the wrapper training video on our YouTube. Now that we know what kind of content is located under the Content Explorer, it's important to know how you generally would create an item and how the motion of publishing will work. For example, if I want to create a static item and I want to make a folder for it, I'll right-click on the static folder, select Add Folder, name my folder whatever I'd like, and then inside of that folder, I'll right-click and select Add Item. When I then create this item, it's going to be located inside of this folder, and you can see under type, it's classified as static content because it's in that static content folder. When it comes to creating any kind of content, the same action will take place. You can select Add Folder or Add Item. When it comes to publishing, you will locate your page, which will go more in depth on the site plan here in a second, and you'll drag your static item onto the page. Once the green plus appears, you're good to let go, and your assignment will come up. Let's go ahead and hop to the site plan sign and learn the most crucial step. How do you create a web page? It's important that when we're creating a page, we put it inside of the All Pages folder, and that's because we have the assigned content assigned to this All Pages folder, so that anything that goes inside of here will inherit all of the assigned content. You can also create folders on this side, just like the Content Explorer. And we'll do that by right-clicking, selecting Add Folder. We'll title this Overview of Site Planner, and save and close. Locate our folder, and then inside of that, we can put as many web pages as we'd like. I'm going to go back here and show you again what I did. Just right-click and select Add Page. This is where you'll fill in the name, title, and alias of your web page. Once you fill in the name, it'll automatically put in the title and alias, which you can then change after the fact. We won't go into detail on the metadata or the redirects, but it's important to know that this is where they are located. You can then save and close. And there we go, your page is added. We just took a look at an overview of Site Planner. Now that you have a general understanding of the layout and function of Site Planner, it's important to learn how to actually create content, publish it, and then manage it. You can learn these next steps by watching the static and dynamic content videos, as well as the wrapper videos. This will give you all of the necessary knowledge to move forward. For more training videos like this one, you can visit sitestacker.training or our YouTube channel @SiteStacker.